Reynolds, as you said. Payne and Mostert off the second row. Brodie on the pole. Shane out of ninth. Is this the pivotal junction in this year's championship story? Second gear and Kostecki jumps into the lead by a margin. He's got the authority over the field as they make their way down towards turn number one. Look up on the outside of Mostert. He is making ground. Wasn't too much ground. He's up on the outside of Reynolds, and he continues to threaten as they make their run down towards the turn four hairpin. We've got Kostecki, we've got Reynolds, Mostert, Payne, Winterbottom, Golding, and Brodie's got the jump.
Nice start. Is that Slade in the fence there with Courtney? Now, I saw contact with Cam Waters at the first chicane also. The Monster Mustang was right out sideways. Someone had bumped it, but very nice start by Kostecki. Very similar yesterday with Cam Waters. So nice walk off the line, and there's the first safety car. You called it. You said about the percentage of chance, and you also said that we didn't have one yesterday. That's been heightened as a consequence, and the safety car comes out.
Here's what's gone on further afield. So Courtney and Slade just awkwardly interlocked, and then that fired McCauley into Jack Smith that I miscalled, and it's McCauley that was off to the right-hand side. Now, how's that for a shark bite?
That's hit really hard, isn't it?
Yeah, no wonder they've had to declare the safety car out there to be able to get that out. So here we go. We're waiting now for Brodie to get the word and to make a decision as to when he wants to go.
Oh, this is going to be bad.
That looked awkward because people started to go too early. So this has made a mess of the field. They've got to sort themselves out to not have an overlap. This is going to be messy, but it's worked out in favour of Kostecki. He's completely scrambled the next group of cars.
That was very clever by Kostecki then.
And Will Brown almost got himself in strife in the middle of all that.
That was smart. That was very smart. He knew that they'd all get a run on there. They're all trying to get momentum on him. He pulled them all up.
Well, he just maintained the pace.
Go.
Nice. Nice. All the wheels went on cleanly. They delivered whatever they wanted to do with fuel. They've cleared one of their key stops. David Reynolds has got a 1.99 second margin lead now over Chaz Mostert. Mark Winterbottom's having a good afternoon here as well in third position. Van Gisbergen up into fourth. Waters behind him, and we saw that manoeuvre a bit earlier down there on the exit of turn four that resolved up in the high-speed chicane. So Cam's still sitting in behind Shane with about a 1.3 second margin behind.
This is interesting.
Mostert, Waters, Golding, and then Frosty. Oh, how tight was that? How tight was that? He dropped it in there like he was doing up a zipper.
How's that for merging on the freeway, folks? Unbelievable. That is absolutely exquisite. What's this?
Wow.
How's Red Bull Airfile Racing Camaro arrive in that gap? That is...
bombed in from nowhere. Delivered from above.
Kostecki was 20 litres. Van Gisbergen was 21 litres. Check that one when we get a handle on it.
Waters took on about 23 litres of fuel in his stop. And Reynolds, we think, took on about 30 litres there.
Here he is. He's just coming out. Should be in front.
That's Mostert and Waters. And there's Van Gisbergen in the background. He's good off the exit of the chicane, Mostert. He's got good strength there. Just a little bit weaker in a couple of these slower corners. You can see the turn-in pace that Shane carries through turn 11. Huge concentration required for both the boys here, and you can see that Chaz is really battling the back of that car through turn 12. More pressure again out of 13. And then it's a jink to the right and another to the left here in this final corner. And this is where Shane's been very strong this weekend. Shallow exit, gets it up the inside, but he just used a little bit too much advance on the throttle, and it cracked sideways when he didn't want it, and that just gave a breather to Chaz.
That's where we saw him yesterday with a little speed advantage over Cam Waters, also in those low speed 90-degree style corners. Oh, he got a better run this time.
This time, though, vulnerable down the inside, and a beautiful move there, and a little return of serve from Chaz on Shane. They've had some epic battles over the years. There was one quite a few years back up at Townsville that was textbook and a professional exchange. And they give as good as they get, but they race so well together. Van Gisbergen clears a spot, so he moves it up now into position number 5. Brody Kostecki's got 2.5 seconds over Matt Payne, and then another 0.3 back to Reynolds.
It'll be interesting to see what happens here with Shane, whether he does take the stop now. He's not going to put a move on. I thought he was going to fire down the inside of Matt Payne. He might do it here. He might do it here. He does. He does. And he's got him.
Oh, and Frosty's also buying in here as well. He's tucked in behind Payne, so he did make some profit out of all that. And now the DeWalt entry also in an awkward spot up on the outside there, and he's got his teammate in behind him. The Hino entry just making contact briefly with Mark Winterbottom. Scott Pine just gave him a little touch up as they all try and sort themselves out.
To all teams, bad sportsmanship flag to car 97 for exceeding track limits.
Oh, Shane Van Gisbergen, who's just coming into the pit lane.
Bad sportsmanship flag for car 97.
Has also just been given a warning about exceeding. So Van Gisbergen in from Payne, Golding, Brown, all in for their final stops of the day. They've released Matt. Now they release Gizzy, who drops in behind in front of Brown. Look how tight that is. There goes Waters. Kostecki's in the lead now by 4.2 seconds. He's almost got the margin back marked in the corrected order. On our computer, it's showing 0.2 of a second. What a race. Meantime, Reynolds has been told to push. Job done. Brody's fueled and got some fresh Dunlop tyres to the end.
Launches out a little bit tardy leaving the box, but this is going to be super tight.
Super tight indeed. We're on board here with Brody. We're watching the creeping, crawling pace of David Reynolds departing the pit lane. 40 kilometres an hour feels like you are literally crawling. There it is. Here we go. This is how tight it's going to be on the rejoin. There's not going to be very much in this. That's what the math has been suggesting. And now that will be the margin that defines the battle to the checkered flag. Both of them could find themselves in trouble if they get too greedy with tyres. They do need to stretch them to get to the end. He's all over the back of him one more time, coming out of turn 11. It was cheerleading from Al in the background. Nothing to do with engineering there a moment ago.
It was complete sports psychology, wasn't it?
He wants him to understand what it means to the men and women in there, and he's giving him a little rough up here to unsettle him. That's what he's looking for.
Yeah, that's rude. That's rude. Push on, mate. Push on.
Brody knows
that 15 to go. 15 to go.
Brody knows that a bump and run can get him in trouble as well. So what he's trying to do here at the moment is unsettle him. And that'll be happening. When you cop a whack from somebody like that, you'll be careful to control the anger, and he gets it all out of shape. Reynolds crossed the top of the island that time and had to protect himself by going straight through. There is some signs here that the pressure is on, and we've got 15 laps.
Fight.
Fight is the word from his employers. His engineer, Alistair McVeighn's telling him to get stuck in, put your head down, get your elbows up. Do not give these blokes 1 millimetre. Brody's on him once again as they make their run up towards the turn 11 left-hander. This is where he's been very strong, and he niggled him coming out of the final corner on the previous lap. He just gave him a slap in the rear of it. And Van Gisbergen's angry and animated on the radio in the background. Something was a joke. He's 13 seconds off the lead, and he's expressing enormous frustration. Back to the lead, though, and it's another little touch-up, and he had to back away from him. He gave him such a whack then that there was a lot of opposite lock required to recover. Reynolds is under extreme pressure here. Next time through, it's 14 to go. Brody's rattling on him, trying to unsettle him out of position. He must be very careful of a bump and run. If he pushes him and gains from it, he'll get a penalty.
And he's got to be so careful. He's got to be so careful, and he's done it. He's done it.
He's held him up high as they make their way out of turn 4. David pushes him back across to the left side of the road. Now they've got to sort out this arrangement here. Who's got right of way? And Brody gets it done. Brody gets it done. 13 odd laps remaining for the next one.
Get back into him. Get back into him.
I'm not sure that he's got the firepower to be able to do anything about it. I think Brody's got a tiny edge at the moment. And is this going to advance the causes of Cam Waters?
Oh, he's wide. He's wide. He just ran wide. Kostecki just outbraked himself. and Reynolds gets back down the inside.
Wow.
That's a very, very strong manoeuvre by David Reynolds. Come from a little mistake by Kostecki, and that's not over. This is not over at all. Alistair McVeigh just said to Reynolds before that move was on, give him a taste of his own medicine is what it was.
Come on, Davey. Come on. Head down. Let's go. Let's go. Splitting out.
Now,
Oh,
Golding.
there's going to be a massive shunt. That was unbelievable. He spun that car around, and Scott Pye had nowhere to go.
Okay, mate. Feel good. Keep going.
What was all that about?
So I think there was contact with...
I saw
Goldie.
the movement on the computer, so Pye's got damage. He may not get it back. We might get a safety car late in the game here. There's nothing going on up the front here in terms of a margin. They are locked together. Forget about the computer. He is stopped out there.
Yep, he's going to have to
Now,
put that
this
out.
is going to be a problem. What a headache for race control. But this is going to have the effect, if they throw the SC boards and the yellow flags, of potentially pulling the field up. He has a look down the inside, Kostecki, as they make their way into the braking area, into one. And he's got the thing crossed up again, David Reynolds. He had it skating on the rear tyres, and he's only just barely got out the other side. So now we've got 7 laps to go in this high-pressure scenario.
Safety car boards and flags,
Oh,
safety
no.
car boards and flags.
Safety car to recover the Hino car of Scott Pye. And here's the reason why. So there was some wild stuff going on in the background. That's Waters. Here we go with James. He's given the tyres a big belting there and rotated out the other side. I saw him go down the order. You spotted all this going on, but Pye is a victim in the process in the Hino entry.
Right now.
There. And that's pretty significant damage on car number 20. So he's grabbed a gear, rotated it, but at the same time, and I wonder how that'll be viewed. Here we are on board now with James, and we've been talking up the possibility of a podium for him. Big contact. Remember, he was in strife on the Sunday here in the fast chicane last year, James Golding. This is the view for Scott Pye. Nowhere to go for him as that other car, number 20, the Hino car, was starting to move. I beg your pardon, the Newlon car was starting to move to the right, and the Hino car nowhere to go.
Safety car for lane. Green flags. Green flags.
What's he do? Does he go straight away, or does he hold them up like Brody did earlier? He goes straight away.
He's just getting on with it. It's a nice job. He just cracked the throttle, got on with the job of race driving.
4 to go. The sound like it runs depends on it.
No games. So this is all about a sprint race to the end. Drive like your life depends on it. 4 remaining. 12 kilometres. David Reynolds is searching for a victory. Did he give those tyres a rub then on cold tyres? If he didn't, he went mighty close to it. He's driving for his own pride. He's driving for the pride of the team. He's driving for Penrite and everybody at Grove that have been working so hard in this program. He had a problem with the brake bias yesterday. It ended up full forward and overheated those front brakes. And he's managing every millimetre of this racetrack at the moment to try and cling to a possible victory. For Brodie Kostecki, the complexion of this is entirely different. He's the championship leader. He's got 104 points in his back pocket at the moment. He's already got 6 victories to his credit. He can't afford a mistake or a penalty. He's just given him another little tickle up out of the final corner. Next time round, it is 1 lap to go. It's 2,900 metres of racetrack. Can Reynolds hang on for this nail-biter? The second day in a row, we've got a cracking race on the Gold Coast. Reynolds hangs on into turn 1. He's got the slide going. That's the second or third time we've seen him do it. The thing broke wide, and that'll raise some eyebrows up and down the lane. That protected him also down at the hairpin.
It certainly did. So, 11.5. Last lap, Brodie Kostecki just did the fastest lap of the race, and everyone's blowing up deluxe about him going through that first chicane.
That will certainly raise eyebrows, as I said a few moments ago. The back of the car, though, had broken loose, and there'll be a lot of discussion about that one later, and it's crossed up again on the run into turn 11. Right at the moment, Reynolds has only got 4 corners remaining, separating him from victory. He's still got a car length in hand. Now he points it into the sun down towards 14 and 15 for the last time. We'll come back to all the sporting and political questions later. He's getting a rough up from Brodie. He's out the other side. And David Reynolds has victory lane.
What a cracking race. What a cracking race between those two.
Big moment for Penrite Racing. Big moment for Stephen and Brenton Grove, for the men and women in that team. And a huge moment for David Reynolds. The sparkle in those eyes says it all. Beautiful afternoon here on the Gold Coast, and what wonderful supercar racing we've had all weekend. Let's confirm those results for you. For race number 26 of the championship, and home by a margin of 0.188 of a second, David Reynolds over Brodie Kostecki in another epic race on the GC. From Cam Waters hanging on beautifully for third position. Matt Payne, you just heard from him. He's done a great day's work as well. Then Shane Van Gisbergen, his championship battle is still well and truly alive going to Adelaide. James Golding in strife and the wars at the back end of it. Thomas Randall, Brock Feeney, Mark Winterbottom and Bryce Fullwood, our top 10. And then various tales of woe, particularly there for James Courtney, who got caught up together with Tim Slade and Corley Jones early in the game. We're back to a 131-point margin, just as it was when we came into this race weekend. No change in the order of the top 8 cars, but Bryce Fullwood's come up a couple of spots in position number 9. So that's our battle there in the Drivers' Championship. Teams' Championship vitally important as well, and that margin sitting at 140 points. That's gone up by another 9 points between Erebus and Triple Eight, Coca-Cola Racing by Erebus and the Red Bull Ampol Racing Team in their battle for pit lane position and teams supremacy, with Brad Jones Racing sitting in that third position.